When you are looking for hotels in Japan, you'll probably come across some places you've never seen in other countries. That's because many of them were developed through Japan's long history and often tied to the lifestyle of that era. A lot of these places still exist today as unique forms of accommodation. They can be epic experiences, but they can also be a bit unfamiliar or even intimidating, especially if you are used to regular Western style hotels. So in this video, I'm going to explain some of Japan's most unique hotels in historical order, so you'll know what to expect and hopefully avoid any surprises. Let's begin with something a little bit different, a type of accommodation that's not a typical hotel, staying inside a Buddhist temple known as Shukubo, and you can still stay in one today. Shukubo were originally created for monks and religious pilgrims, but even as early as the Heian period, regular people also began staying at temples while visiting the sites. And today you can still stay in temple, especially in places like Koyasan near Osaka. I will stay at one in Koyasan and join temple in Kyoto. And you can join an early morning rituals, eat traditional meals, and experience a side of Japan you don't find in regular hotels. It's peaceful and it becomes an unforgettable experience. Some places are very traditional. Some places are made more comfortable to accommodate international travelers. While temple stays offer the quiet spiritual experiences, many people are simply traveling. Samurai, merchants, messengers, and they needed places to rest along the way. During the Edo period, Japan had a national policy called Sankin Kotai, where feudal lords were required to travel regularly between their home domains and the capital of Edo, which is Tokyo. This created a huge demand for accommodations across the country. That's where hatago started to appear. They offered a meal with the local cuisines, a bath, and place to stay. But if you were of higher status, like a daimyo or government officials, you didn't stay in just any inn. You stayed in the place called honjin, a special type of the official lodging reserved only for elites. Some of these honjin buildings still exist today, and you might even see signs of them when you walk through the historical towns in Japan. Over time, these inns evolved into what we call Ryokan now. So when Japanese people traveled on foot, you are tired and you stay at different regions. So special accommodation facilities that welcoming people with local cuisines and hot bathtub for people who are tired from long walking. So that kind of the facility met with local hospitality mind and the ryokan started to develop. So it sounds like a very old style and it could extinguish, but it didn't because it meets, it actually even became more popular now. It has lots of different variety of the ryokans, luxury ryokans that you can enjoy very gorgeous kaiseki dinner with private bath in your room. And there are some big chains that you enjoy the buffet that at night. Like the one I went to in Osaka's Mino, and there are huge facility, lots of customers, and it's fun. But it's definitely not something to feel the aesthetic experience. But it's definitely good for families or group of friends. But many ryokans are very small sized and privately owned, and you can enjoy the local cuisine and hot springs. Recently, there are lots of different demands. Even for Japanese people, sometimes it's difficult to sleep on the floor. So some ryokan said to have a bed instead of the futon mat. So you can enjoy the Japanese style room, but the sleeping place is a bed. So you don't have to let someone comes in to put futon down near floor. And there's always bed there. So it's kind of the popular style recently. And also for the increasing of the demands for the privacy, public baths can be also different style. Some same like I went recently in Newton Hospital in Akita Prefecture. There's a private bus that called Kashikiri Buro that you can kind of lock and you can use as you want. Some places charge really expensive, like 45 minutes and like 2,000 and 3,000 yen. Some places like when I visit, you can go anytime when it's open. So those are really great. You can have your privacy, and even better is that you have your own private hot spring in your room. So many rooms, many hotels with private bath in the room is, even if it's in the hot spring ryokan, the bathtub in the room is not hot spring. So that sometimes doesn't make any sense. It's just a bath with nice view. So that is also okay, but some places has a real hot spring water in your room too. So especially many public baths even in onsen ryokan, it's not allowing tattoo sometimes. So in that case, it's good to choose a place you can have the private bath in your room, or you can have the public bath just for your own. And also, you can enjoy the local meals. So as I explained earlier, the food can be also buffet or nice local cuisine, kaiseki meals, or it can be a little more basic one. For the epic ryokan experience, probably you might want to choose two kaiseki meals, breakfast and dinner, instead of the buffet. Sometimes you might think you can go out to the town and eat, but it can be a little challenging to find sometimes. And definitely, how you are treated in the ryokan as a guest is different, and you get to enjoy more different variety of things included in the hotel price. Many ryokan has a choice of the bed recently, but still, many ryokans are you sleep on the futon mat on the tatami room. Also, checkout can be very early, that usually it is 10 a.m. So it's kind of the all-in-one package and leisure. The great thing about ryokan is you can enjoy the Japanese culture and Japanese kind of leisure style. So it will be very interesting experience. Again, this is also not like a place maybe you can stay for long nights. It might be better to move around because many ryokans are not made for staying many nights. Many people just stay one night and leave because sometimes dinner, breakfast can be same. And unlike the hotels, there's no kind of place to eat or drink coffee in the daytime. And next one is Minshuku. Minshuku is more small type of accommodation that was born in 1937 in Hakuba in Nagano Prefecture. So it's interesting because Hakuba is more Western image for us because it's a ski resort, but the Minshuku is actually born in Hakuba. So the original start is like there's a mountain guides of the Hakuba, and they started to let guests stay at their house. And 16 houses got approval from police to operate as the accommodation. So that is the start of this Minshuku. We don't have the image of the Minshuku in Hakuba, and it's more port town. Near the port town, they offer nice kind of seafood when you stayed. So the great thing is that you can find a very reasonable price accommodation where you cannot find many big hotels or different choices. But it can be a little difficult. Something you might want to know is usually at Minshuku, it's shared bathroom and you don't have your own bathroom. Also, it's usually family operated. The atmosphere or kind of how you feel might be really greatly different depending on the person. Many people want privacy, and I don't think it's a really popular way of staying for modern Japanese people too. Also, something I notice is there are some Japanese companies booking site like Rakuten, Jaran. They have English site, but some Minshuku come up in Japanese site, but doesn't come up in English site. So I think that might be because maybe they don't speak English, so they don't know how to welcome international tourists. And that's the one I said in Izu Peninsula was like that, so I didn't introduce in my video just in case, because there's no way to make a reservation for in English. And next one is a business hotel. And business hotel, it has developed as the Japanese economy developed after the first Olympic game in Tokyo. And as the Shinkansen and the fast train system develop, the more businessmen start to travel around Japan as companies' business expands. So there's always a need for the hotels in each kind of small, even in the small cities around Japan. And that's how you see the lots of business hotels everywhere. So what the business hotels like is business hotels is focused on the just staying. It's very functional, compact, and usually businessmen come leave very early for the work and come back late. So made with the minimal facilities, very clean and functional recently. Like major chain like Toyoko Inn, Super Hotel, and Upper Hotel, Root Inn, Vessel Inn, lots of different chains are competing. Each hotel has some character, and for example, Toyoko Inn and Super Hotel has a free breakfast included. It's very basic and not something to be excited about, but it's definitely very convenient to have something to eat in the morning. The business hotel has a unit bus, which is very small and tiny, and with small mirror and so. But it is improving, and some hotels has a public bus, and it can be very interesting, and you can experience once, but you can see if you like it. If you don't like it or if you don't think it's important, maybe just a regular hotel is okay. The great thing about business hotel is it's very clean and functional. There's electric kettles, there's kind of fresh mist to kind of odor remover of the clothes. It's just so functional and convenient, especially perfect for solo travelers. Something when you book, you want to be very careful not to book the smoking room. Always better to choose non-smoking room. And somehow always smoking room is left until the last minute and a little cheaper. So not for everyone, but if you smoke, of course, it's problem with this business hotel is a little bit usually lots of single room. And when you book with two people, something you might want to make sure is usually it is sold as a like really sharing small bed and not much space even to put suitcase. So that is something you might want to be careful. Like I say, like an upper hotel was like 10 square meters, which can be like one third or less of the regular motel room in America. So it's definitely not for someone who feels a claustrophobia. Definitely better than capsule hotel, and you don't hear the other people snoring. You don't have to worry about making a phone call in your room. But that is something you might want to be careful. So something I recommend is there's some premium business hotel brand. Like it's not even business hotel anymore, but it's not a full size hotel too. They don't have room service or banquet rooms, but it's also focus on just staying. But some premium brand like Mitsui Garden Hotel, instead Solaria, Richmond Premier, and Dormy Inn and Daiwa Roynet Hotel. Those are sometimes have a nice big room and has a little more wider room. So in case you stay with the two people, you might be able to choose a kind of twin room of those hotels. It depends on the city, but you can find for usually under 10,000 and depends on the season. It's definitely basic hotel, and if you choose a really city center, there's only one elevator and you wait for elevator forever. Sometimes happens. So actually, the number of the elevator is so important, I think. Something my tips is maybe always capsule hotel or business hotel, always make sure where the emergency exit is in case of like earthquake or fires. So what I do always is try to choose a newer building. Especially for business hotels, there are lots of new business hotels opening. The Capsule Hotel started in 1979 when in Osaka as a Capsule in Osaka, and actually that hotel still exists. The reason it was born was it was for businessmen who couldn't go home by missing the last train. As the economy developed, Japanese salarymen or businessmen was working hard and they had to work late, they had to drink until late, and they often missed the last train or too tired to go home. That's why, for the convenience of the businessmen, they made capsules, and that was the start of the capsule hotels in Japan. As they can build lots of pods in the small space, and it can be very reasonable. So it's developed in the major cities like Osaka and Tokyo. So often it's associated with the sauna and public bath too. But as the international tourists are increasing, there are lots of different types of hotel now. The capsule hotels are usually for men, and there's some capsule hotels separate. Some floors are for men, some floors are for women. Recently, they have the different capsule hotels that as the more international tourists are increasing, it can be very kind of fashionable, cute style. It can be very Japanese style so tourists from abroad can enjoy more. And the great thing about it is the first thing is the price. But it used to be a few thousand yen, like 4,000, 5,000 yen. But recently it can be actually really expensive. Can be sometimes around 10,000 yen, which is probably better to stay in the business hotel. But the merit of the capsule hotel is not just that. Sometimes they offer the public bath included, and you can have the free food at the lounge. Some people enjoy that, just being with others more than just being in by yourself in the room. It's definitely not for everyone, but some people might fit into that concept. So this capsule hotel is you stay in the little pod. So there is a privacy in the pod, but you hear often the noise of other rooms and snoring, and you have to also stay quiet in the pod. If you feel something claustrophobia, definitely not. And so, in my opinion, probably it's better to just keep it for 1, 2 nights and not for entire your trip because it can be a little bit tiring. And so you can experience fast and oh, this is actually good. Then you can maybe try. And the last one is a pension. Pension in English means more like a retirement plan or something different meaning. But in pension, in Japanese, what come up to our mind is a kind of Western style, this Minshuku, kind of accommodation style. So it's similar to the Minshuku and it started in Kusatsu in Gunma Prefecture. So Kusatsu is a famous hot spring town and they also have a ski resort. In 1970s in Kusatsu, this Watanuki pension opened as the first pension in Japan. And pension is coming from the word of passion, French word passion, and nothing to do with pension in English. So it's more Western style and it serves you kind of Western meals. And around that time, like 70s, 80s, it was very popular to kind of, there's admiring to foreign countries and kind of Western style lifestyle. More people wanted more kind of Western style leisure. Now it's kind of going back to Japan. Even for Japanese people, we appreciate more Japanese atmosphere, Japanese aesthetic atmosphere. Going to Kyoto wasn't a popular thing. It was more about going to the kind of Nagano's kind of nice highland was more status to do. Good example is Karuizawa and Kiyosato and in Nagano Prefecture. So when it comes to pension, I always think of the Nagano Prefecture. Always kind of highland and mountains, so people go there in summer to avoid the heat. And in winter, people go there for the skiing. People enjoy the summer and winter at the pension. And recently, unfortunately, just like the lots of different types of hotel comes up, also same reason with Minshuku, it can be sometimes family oriented. More people want the kind of hot springs and Japanese style. So it's getting a little bit less popular but still, you see a lot. For the reservation, again, it's the same. I looked around, but you don't see many English website. And some places, probably like in places like a ski resort, maybe you can find. But in other places, some places only really have the has Japanese site and not English site. So the con is maybe it's difficult to find how to reservation. So among these, probably the easiest accommodation to stay is the business hotel. And also, we have lots of top class Western hotel like Marriott Hilton, and even more higher one like Aman, Mandarin Oriental. So those are same as other countries, and you can stay more comfortably probably. If you have a chance, it might be interesting to include these Japanese style hotel for more interesting travel experience. In this channel, I'm talking about different travel tips and updates about Japan travel, and also I'm introducing different regions of Japan with my travel vlog. So if you like these Japanese travel contents, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great trip to Japan. Have a great week until the next video.